right, so it looks like we are live here today. Looks like we're live. So, hello, hello, hello to everybody in the Heart Centered Successful Work at Home Moms group. My name's Teresa, and I'm going to talk with you about the three things every entrepreneur should know about time management. Okay, if you saw my post earlier, you know that I am somebody who was once late for a very expensive time management class. That was back when Franklin Covey or Stephen Covey products were just like the ultimate. And so my husband and I had invested in this time management course. It was about 90 minutes from our home, and I made us late. So that was quite the to-do when we arrived. But anyway, I have spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy, and a lot of resources learning about time management and productivity management. And so today I want to share with you the top three things that are going to help you find your focus, derail distractions, and slay your goals. So here we go. Some of this information I need to tell you is going to be kind of mind blowing, but I encourage you, if you have doubts about what I'm saying, if you think it might not be true, then I want you to Google it, because everything that I'm sharing with you, you are going to be able to find on Google. Okay. So that said, here we go. I want to talk to you about getting it done and the biggest reason why you can't get it done when it comes to slaying your goals. Okay. Multitasking. Multitasking is a myth, and you should not be doing it. There are studies out there that show that our productivity levels shrink by at least 40% when we're trying to focus on two things at one time. We have a lower retention rate of information. We can't process information, learn, store information in our brains because our brain is getting conflicting messages from two different things coming in at one time. Let's see. Are you able to hear me? If you're able to hear me, go ahead and comment. I'm just kind of concerned. I didn't check my volume today. Bear with me just one second. Okay, yeah, looks like we're good. Okay, so as you have questions, please feel free to comment and let me know. But multitasking is a myth. We are less productive when we are doing it. But somehow we feel more emotionally satisfied. I think we've all been sold this line that when we multitask, we are being more productive. But the studies show that it's just not true. And you can look this up. There's information from Inc., Forbes, Psychology Today, just about any place you look. Just Google multitasking myth, and you'll find all of this information out there. So we just cannot do two cognitive things at one time. So what does that mean? That means if I want to maybe write something down and also listen to a video, I'm not really doing that. Okay. So if I'm trying to write and create something on this side, and I've got something over here that I'm trying to listen to and learn from, I'm going to be very poorly successful at both of those. Okay. So my productivity in both things is going to go way down. Now think about another kind of thing like walking and chewing bubble gum, right? We always hear that joke. You can't even walk and chew gum at the same time. Well, we can do that because those are not both cognitive functions. Okay. One is more automatic, related to our physical body, and the other is related to our brain. Okay. So walking and chewing gum, we could definitely do. But here are some interesting numbers that I just want you to know about when you think about the idea of multitasking and not being able to focus on two cognitive things at one time. And so an example of this would be what? Texting while driving. How many accidents are occurring these days because somebody is trying to text while they're driving? We cannot focus on two things at once. And the other thing about that is where our eyes go, that's where our energy goes. And so when our eyes are on that phone, we are just not focused. Okay. So actually, when you are texting and driving, you are functioning at 3 times the legal alcohol limit. That is another thing that you can Google and find that it's true. That's pretty darn scary. We are really not, in all actuality, multitasking as much as we are task switching. We're going from one back to another, back to another. Think about it. There was a time in my life, remember, I was the one late for the time management class. There was a time in my life when it wasn't uncommon for me to have 15 different tabs open on my browser. Okay, 15 different tabs. And if you're there with me, if you've been there, done that, give me a like or a thumbs up in the comments. I would love to see who you are. But the thing is, we're not multitasking when we're doing that. We are switching from one thing to another to another. And the truth of the matter is, this has been proven like on factory assembly lines where they've done the time management studies. And when they switched, say the assembly line was maybe putting doors on automobiles, okay, putting doors on those. While everybody's doing that process, the productivity is way up. The minute they switch to, okay, now we're going to install the handles on the doors, the productivity is going to be really slow at first while people get a grasp of, okay, what are we doing now? What are we doing now? And get all the gears working in sync. Do you see what I mean? Every time you switch from one task to another in your brain, you are losing 22 minutes of time. 22 minutes of time, that's a third of every hour. So if you look at the end of your day and you've been multitasking all day long and you're going, why in the world am I not getting it done? This is why. Okay. Multitasking is a myth and you should not be doing it. Whoa. Now, so task switching, again, just goes to the idea we can't do two things at once. Did you know that since 2011, there have been more than 300 deaths around the world by people trying to get the perfect selfie? Okay. Isn't that amazing? So these people are literally backing up on cliffs. They've climbed these high cliffs or mountains, and they're backing up to take this picture, and all they can see is what's in the screen. They can't focus on what's behind, so they're falling to their deaths. Some people are getting caught in the undercurrent swimming, and so drownings are causing another kind of death because people are trying to get really close to the wave, and they can't concentrate on how dangerous the situation really is to get themselves out of it. Isn't that mind-blowing? People are just kind of walking along trying to get a selfie and they fall to their death. So again, clearly we cannot focus on two things at one time. So the burden of task switching, and this is why you shouldn't be doing this, because nobody else is telling you, right, that multitasking is wrong. You hear it all the time. This is the way to get ahead in the world. You need to learn to multitask. It's going to boost your productivity. It's a lie. It's a lie and it's a myth. You're going to lose 40% of your productivity. It's going to take you more time to complete simple tasks when you're multitasking, and that's just because you're going from one to another to another. And the other thing is, the real kicker for me is that the quality of your work is going to suffer. You're going to be more prone to errors in everything that you're doing when you're multitasking. Okay. Another interesting thing about multitasking being a myth is that it's kind of like this with all things. The people who think that they're really great at multitasking are usually the worst at it. Studies bear this out. Again, Google it. So if you're here saying, oh, that might apply to everybody else, but not to me, sorry, hate to tell you. But truth is, the ones that are saying, I really feel like I've never quite got a handle on multitasking, I've always been kind of lousy at that, those are the ones who are performing a little higher than the ones who are saying, hey, I got it, I can do multitasking great. So I encourage you, look this up, because this is the one thing that is derailing your productivity totally. Okay. So let me just see if I have anything else to add here. Oh, the other thing about task switching is that when you're going from one thing to another, remember, you're not functioning right at your highest level. Your brain is already just it's getting these conflicting messages and doesn't know what to look at, what is most important. And then what happens is you're unable to filter out things that are unimportant or irrelevant. So when you think about overwhelm, okay, this is where multitasking comes in. This is like the recipe for overwhelm because we are trying to get our brain to do something it is not designed to do. Okay, so anyway, just know this about multitasking and know that you can get rid of it and you're not going to decrease your productivity at all. Okay, you're actually going to skyrocket your productivity by not multitasking. The next thing I want to talk to you about is focus. All right. And I didn't say it at the beginning, but what I'm teaching you today is 3 secrets everybody should know about time management. Let me backtrack. I obviously get very fired up about this, but I'm going to teach you. Okay. We already talked about why multitasking is a myth. I'm going to teach you how to find your focus and also how to deal with distractions. And then at the very end, I'm going to have just a few minutes and I'll share with you about a product I've got that's going to help you just get all this stuff done and get it done really easily. So focus. A lot of people say, man, I just can't focus. Has that ever been you? Have you ever said, I can't focus? I can't find my focus. I start my day and then, stuff happens and I just totally lose my focus. So how do you find it? Planning. Okay. It's simple. It's a simple thing called planning. You cannot just roll into your day, okay? Your beautiful 8 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours, whatever you've got to work your business. You cannot just land there and say, now what? You can't do that, okay? You need a plan. And a plan doesn't have to be, I mean, I know I'm a nerd, but it doesn't have to be nerdy. It doesn't have to be geeky. You just need to know what your goals are, okay? And when you think about your goals, I want you to think about your goals as the idea of you know where you're going, you know what you want to achieve, okay? And that those goals are like your destination on a roadmap because let's face it, if you get in a car and you want to go to California, but you don't look at a map, what are the odds that you're going to end up there? What are the odds? Probably not very good, right? By some stroke of luck, you might get near there, but you're not going to end up there. So your goals are like your target on a roadmap, okay? You need to know where you're starting, you need to know where you're going. You also need to know there's this concept of as entrepreneurs, we always feel like, I'm a one girl shop, right? Or I'm a one woman shop. I do everything. I'm the chief bottle washer, toilet scrubber, whatever it takes, I do it. But are those really the things that cause the biggest effect or the biggest gain in your business? So it's really important. For instance, I'm gonna give you for instance here. When I first started my business, I was working a full-time job. Okay, that was 40 hours a week, regular scheduled. Okay, so I had, because I value the most in my life, my marriage with my husband, I chose to work my business for about an hour and a half, 2 hours at the most each day. That didn't give me a whole lot of time, but I was committed to that idea, totally committed to that. And so that really meant that I needed to know, how can I make the biggest impact in this tiny amount of time? Do you see what I'm saying? Say I had a makeup business. I don't have a makeup business, but say I did, and I spent those 2 hours reorganizing my shelves in my office. Is that the best use of my time? No. What would have been the best use of my time would be connecting with people, creating relationships, nurturing relationships, right? These are what Darren Hardy calls the small hinges that swing the big doors. Don't you love that concept? Small hinges swing big doors. You need to know what your three most vital priorities are in any week and every single day. Those daily vital three are going to be the ones that pull you back when life happens. When life gets in the way of the beautiful plan that you've created for your day, having selected your daily vital three goals that you're going to achieve that day, you're going to be able to get it done. You're going to be able to get it done. And something cool happens when we achieve small goals for the day. There's a release in our brain of a chemical called dopamine. It's kind of a happy, feel good chemical. It's a little bit of an upper. Okay, the nurse in me is going to come out here. I'm a 30-year RN, but that release of dopamine is similar to the effect that someone would get from taking maybe cocaine or heroin. Okay, it can be addictive to have that little sensation, that little natural burst of dopamine in your brain. And so, what does that do? That causes you to want to make that happen again. Okay, do you see what I mean? Causes you to want to have to do it again. You can become addicted to this awesome feel good chemical and want to, and it'll make you thrive. Okay, in the right situation. We're going to talk about where it might be a downfall later on. But when life happens, use those daily vital three, your three designated vital goals that only you can do, that are the small hinges that swing the big doors in your business. And if all else fails, if everything falls apart in your business for the day, focus on those three things and making as much progress toward them as you can, and you will advance your business every single day. Does that make sense? Easy peasy. So, let me see what else I need. Okay. Couple last little tidbits on planning. You should do it. Why should you do it? Because it's going to propel your business. It's going to push your business in the direction you want it to go. Okay. Do you see how I said that? It's going to push your business in the direction you want it to go. There's a destination out there, right, that you want to get to, and your daily plan is the vehicle you get in to get there. Without it, without a plan, you should expect to fail. You should expect at least that nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. So if you're looking for a different outcome, you've got to try a different approach. Okay. Remember, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Okay. If you've not been slaying your goals, if you haven't been able to find your focus, if you haven't been able to derail distractions, it's time to take a different approach so that we can propel your business in the right direction. See what I'm saying? All right. So now let's talk about distractions, the big D, okay? And distractions, oh, this is a tough love statement I'm going to make to you here, but distractions cannot exist without your permission. Boom, there it is. Distractions cannot exist without your permission. So think about this. What do I mean by that? Do you have your cell phone on when you're working? Are you picking up calls? Okay. And is it urgent, emergent, life-threatening stuff going on the other end of the line when you pick it up? Probably not, right? Okay. So if you choose to have your cell phone on when you're working and you choose to pick up calls, you're creating those distractions. See what I mean? Anything, virtually anything, can go to voicemail, and you can call back at a time that's convenient for you and the other party. See what I mean? Do not let yourself be distracted and derailed by phone calls. Okay. What about those Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest notifications? Ding, 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 right? Who loves us over here? Who loves us over there? There is actually a diagnosis right now that has just come up. Remember, nurse here. But within the last few years, a diagnosis has been developed called digiphrenia, and that is our being addicted to our devices. We are addicted to those notifications. So remember when I talked about how that little release of dopamine in our brain, we can get that from achieving small daily goals, okay? We can also get that from the love we feel and the excitement we feel when our notifications are dinging, okay? Got a new ad out there. I need to know every ping, every notification that happens. Been there, right? I confess, I've been there. But I'm not there anymore. I don't want to live there anymore, okay? Because that notification dinging is releasing that same dopamine in my brain and causing me to want more and more of the same. But more of those notifications is not pushing me in the direction of my goal, is it? It's got me trapped here. It's got me trapped right here where this stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can catch up on it any time, right? And you just need to schedule or plan a time that I'm going to look at that. So notifications pinging are a really big deal. Having the news on 24/7, anybody guilty of that? I am not a fan of having the news on 24/7, and there's a few reasons for that. But the biggest one being, how much good news do we actually hear? Right? Our news media and the news itself keeps us in this state of chronic stress. Okay? We develop this chronic stress and this fear of what's going to happen next. Right now, we're at a pretty pivotal time in the country, don't you think? I'm not going to go political here, but this is a big, big time for us that we've really got two totally different tracks of thinking as we prepare for the election of our next president. And so there's a lot of division, there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of ugliness out there, and we see it and hear it day after day after day. And heaven forbid if this guy gets elected, we hear about how bad everything's going to be, right? Everything's going to be, oh my gosh, it's going to be so bad. It's going to be so bad. And all of that does is activate and keep activated our fight or flight mechanism. Okay. And that is our response when we feel threatened. When we feel threatened, we have that fight or flight response. We want to bolt, we want to run, but you know what? We can't. We live here. We can't bolt. We live right here. So it's important to realize what the news does to you, because it leaves you in a state of chronic stress. And if you've got it on all day long, again, remember, you cannot multitask. I've already told you why. Okay. So if it's playing in the background, you're focused on one or the other, and you're doing a lot of task switching. See what I mean? So distractions cannot exist without your permission. Texting. Okay. Anybody get urgent, emergent texts? Probably not that often. Any $1 million deals that, are going to fail if you don't respond right now? Does that really happen every single day and you've got to check every text? Probably not. Okay. So when it's not happening, don't do it. Don't do it. Are you addicted to your device? What do you think? Are you, just a mild user, kind of a Well, they say that I'm a social user kind of thing, or are you just kind of a crackhead? Where do you fall on that scale? Because trust me, I've been there, and if you're somebody who has ever, oh my gosh, did anybody call? Right? Phone never vibrated, but did anybody call? I'm going to check it again. See what I mean? How often do we do that? And we are wasting our valuable time again because we're going into this task switching. Oh, I'll just check it real quick. Oh boy. How about this one? I'll just check Facebook real quick. I'll just check Facebook real quick and then I'll get back. But how many rabbit holes can we fall down when we go check Facebook real quick? Okay. Again, distractions cannot happen without your permission. So, how can you eliminate distractions? Boy, you have to be very, very purposeful. And I actually have a group on Facebook. I'll share it with you a little later, but it's called Positive and Purposeful 40 something women entrepreneurs overcoming depression. But those two words, positive and purposeful, I encourage you, live your life in a purposeful way, grow your business in a purposeful way, work with purpose, because when you do, first thing to understand is we don't get these minutes back. Okay. And over the course of a day, they accumulate. So what we did with them is going to be reflected in what we get at the end of the day. So disconnect. Oh my. Right? Turn your phone off. Leave it downstairs. Wherever your office is, leave your phone outside. Check it when it's time to check it. Okay. In the event you're waiting on something really emergent, I mean, that might be something, maybe a little flexibility there, but um, even if I have something like that going on, I leave my phone outside, but turn my ringer on so I can hear it if the big thing happens. Okay. I don't have to have it right on me because the temptation of looking at it, checking it is always there. Disconnect. Be purposeful in your days. Are distractions, ask yourself all the time, are my distractions serving me? If I check Facebook, is that serving me? Is checking my email 200 times a day, waiting on that one response, serving me? Okay, is that pushing me in the direction of my goal? Probably not. Okay, use your voicemail and your email and set a particular time of day to check them both. Okay, maybe check your voicemail in between work sessions, and that's a whole other thing I get into is how to work in blocks of time in the class I'm going to share with you in here in just a minute. But very, very important for you to know what you do when, okay? Because this is the only way that you're always going to be able to find your focus, derail distractions, and slay your goals, all right? So now that we've gone through all of that, you know that multitasking is a myth and you shouldn't be doing it. You know that you can find your focus by using a plan, and you know some distractions that you need to eliminate, right? So now I want to talk to you about a tool I have for you that helps you get all of these things done every single day, and you're going to live a life that is positive and purposeful and allows you to do a couple of other cool things, one being care for and nurture yourself. Okay, how often do we put ourselves at the very, very last to be taken care of? It's very, very typical. Okay, so I have what's called the positive and purposeful planning system, and it includes for you a way to plan your year, your weeks, your days, and even your weekends. Okay, but the thing is, I want you to think about it as something that's very, very easy to use. Trust me. In thinking about time management, I follow my mantra when it comes to creating things: easier, faster, better. Okay, that's always what I'm looking for when I create something. I want to see a need for it, and I want to make it easier, faster, and better. All right, and so that's what this is, because it allows you to put the big things in your life that you want, like, if you want more family time, I can show you how to put that in there. I can show you how to put that in there. If you want more spiritual development, professional development, I can show you how to put that in there. It's very, very easy. If you want to make more beautiful memories with your family, take more vacations, whatever, and feel like you can actually leave your business and have all these other things happen, I'm going to show you how to plan for these things to happen in your life. And it's not hard, and it doesn't take a lot of time. So the positive and purposeful planning system, it has the 4 different planning tools for your annual plan. And if you've never done an annual plan, it's going to blow you away. Your weekly plan, your daily plans, and then a weekend planner. And the weekend planner, we actually do a free 5-day challenge, and there's a link to that above this video. And that 5-day challenge is to live your best weekend. And I would love to have you join that. If you're not ready for the planner, go ahead and join the weekend challenge, because I think that would be something that's just going to totally blow you away, and it allows you to experience the power of positive and purposeful planning, totally at no risk. Okay, so you've got access to the free weekend planning course, the 5-day Live Your Best Weekend Challenge, but also available today at an introductory price of $77 is the Positive and Purposeful Planning System that is taught by me. You get all of the planning tools that you need, and you will never need to buy another planner. How cool is that? Because you will own the tools and you will be able to just print them as you need them and just keep them. They are yours. Okay. And any updates that come along, you have access to those as well. I have created also a course that goes along with it. So you will learn how to use all of those tools like a boss. You're going to be living a positive and purposeful life. You're going to have a life of satisfaction, where you have all the right things in. You find your focus every day, derail distractions, and slay your goals. So $77 gets you into that course. There's bonus training in there, including how to work in your zone of genius, and many others, more on why you shouldn't multitask, how to work in blocks of time to create this state of flow, and so much more. So check it out. There's a link above the video to check out the class. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in. If you are um, a woman entrepreneur who has depression like me and wants to overcome depression, I've also got an awesome free group with a lot of great training and resources in it. And the link is above this video. Feel free to join me there. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful, and God bless your day. Bye.